Hey, so you're from Australia, right?
And here comes another dumb question.
So why January 26th?
A conversation about Australia Day?
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to ask that question. I haven't really been asked any questions like that from customers here as far as I've been working, but that's the day Australia was officially marked as British Empire. And the worst part is that later down the track, January 26th actually became a national day to celebrate what it means to be Australian. It was granted as a public holiday across all of Australia from 1994 onwards, and it's still a public holiday today.
That must be hard for the natives.
You're right about that. Each year, Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islander people protest on this day, as they don't believe that it's right for us to celebrate a day where their country was wrongly taken away from them. To them, January 26th is Invasion Day, or some even call it Survival Day, to mark the fact that their people weren't completely wiped out, and some of their culture still survived.
Well, why don't they move the date then?
Well, funny you mention that, because last year there was finally some talk about moving the date, but unfortunately there's still some people that doesn't really sit too well with.
No. Mate, that's not what Australia Day's about. Alright? There's nothing wrong with Australia Day, mate. I'm a true blue Aussie, and look, this is what it's about. It's about hanging out with your mates, listening to the Hottest 100, alright? And just having a really good day. That's what it means to be Australian. Don't worry about this other stuff.
Yes, that conversation actually happened while I was working at that bar. And yes, I was rudely interrupted by a white Australian man who felt the need to correct me, a fellow Australian, when I was trying to explain Australia's history. And honestly, that's why I wanted to make this video. And that's why I started my whole YouTube channel to begin with, because these are the kind of conversations that need to be brought to light. What does it mean to live in Australia? Is there a particular reason why we reject progress over failure? Is it because it's progress for a particular kind of person? So progress is only progress when it's for you, but not you. But you're okay, but not you. Why is our history hidden in education, like it's some kind of secret? Shh. But then no one can tell me the meaning of Dreamtime, but all about the First Fleet, and why didn't I know that my country has the oldest culture in the world? Yet I knew all about the British flag Arthur Phillipps raised at Sydney Cove, and he raised that flag on January 26th. A day he claimed land that wasn't his. But January 26th is just a day in the year, right? So why do we hold on to it for dear life?
My rights too.
Have a day off work. Have a beer and a snack.
Go to the beach with some mates.
Listen to the Triple J Hot 100 countdown on Australia Day. But I wonder sometimes what it would look like through someone else's eyes.
My rights too.
Acknowledge our shared history.
Respect and mourn my elders who have fought for this country.
Feel included in the conversation.
Celebrate and acknowledge the resilience, survival, strength and culture of my people.
January 26th isn't just a date in the year. It's a day where genocide of the world's oldest culture began. Yet we're still defending the damage made by the British man, so what's changed? Reconciliation. Great to create a big word, yet the meaning of it's hard to bring up in conversation because the journey forward is complicated. Not to mention the stolen generation. Yes, we've had the apology by Kevin Rudd back in 2008. The first time our deep dark history was acknowledged, and it really did help our people integrate, but what about since then? We've made leaps and bounds, but there's still a way to go, yet I've heard more people defend January 26th than understand it, so every year, a day of invasion is celebrated in this country, no matter what protesters say, and it's sad. And it's tiring to continue to fight to acknowledge the beginning of the loss for the oldest human life. Just like Anzac Day, which is placed in high regard every year. Schools will never forget to teach young minds to hold this time dear. 11/11 is when the nation must go silent. For all the soldiers who died defending our land, you say. But then we forget the native warriors who died defending our land the exact same way. So really, they should say the truth. It depends on whose life is lost as to whether you mourn, what colour you came out when you were born. So how does that make any sense? And how can one put up a defence when fellow Australians advocate to move this day to another date? It's not like getting rid of it. It's just moving it to a date where everyone can participate, where we can learn to integrate. That's fine by me if it's fine by you. Because Australia Day isn't just about being true blue. It's about the history which came before us, the life we never knew.